10 hockey games today. We're going to tell you exactly how to bet each and every one of them. If you watched yesterday's show and bet every single game we told you about, you would have made a ton. Matthew Barnaby is my co-host. I'm Lawrence Presman. You're watching the Blue Line, and Matt, what a day yesterday. A whole bunch of unders. The Jets won. Anaheim beat Chicago. Calgary took care of their business. You and I, though, outdid every team on the ice. I think I gave out the Rangers was probably the only game that I lost yesterday. And that's why people need to watch this show every single day. We had some incredible info yesterday. How did your personal bets go?
It was unbelievable. It's one of those days where you're seeing the board, you feel good about it. You're always a little cautiously optimistic when you do a show with someone, and you almost pick across the board the exact same thing. We thought there'd be a lot of unders in those games. We predicted fives almost across the board, and we almost nailed every which one of them. I had Tampa Bay in that game. Again, I can't bet the New York Rangers. I think they were a putrid hockey team defensively, but man, what a night. What a night. A lot of games tonight. I'm going to pass on a few, but there's some value out there.
You know, Matt, talking about the passing counts. It counts as a pick. I mean, we're asking people to watch the show, bet their hard-earned money on the plays we give out. I'm not making anything up, just like you. 10 games today. We got Carmine Bianco joining us at the end for some prop bets. Normally, we have a guest on the show. We don't today. We didn't yesterday, but that's okay. We're going to have guests most of the time. Hopefully, we'll have one tomorrow. Stay tuned. Matthew, let's get straight into it. There's 10 games, and let's talk about Pittsburgh hosting Chicago, Bedard against Crosby. And I'll tell you right now, I like the over in this game. They just played each other. In their last matchup, 3-1 loss by Pittsburgh. I think this game is going to be a shootout, Matt. I think it's going to be the complete opposite of the last game they played, although they did get 59 shots on goal. But I think you're going to see Pittsburgh play to the over until the end of the season. They're 42-33 to the over now. Chicago is 38-30 to the over. There are sixes out there and 6.5s. My bet on this game is over 6. Where are you going?
You know what? I'd lean on the over only because I've told you in the past, when teams are not in it anymore, they kind of check out defensively and they start cheating offensively. I don't have a feel on this game. This is the kind of games that I like to pass on. I've been there before. I've been on a bad team in Tampa Bay when we were out of it with 10, 15 games left. You don't know what guys are doing the night before. I know it's a different era, but are they playing poker all night in their rooms? They're not going out like we did and having beers the night before, coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning. But this is a pass for me because I just don't know what I'm going to get from either of these teams. But if I had to lean somewhere, it would be on the over on any two teams that are out of the playoffs.
Matthew Barnaby joining us, everybody. Guys, if you don't mind, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. It would be greatly appreciated. Matthew, Detroit is playing Montreal, and Montreal now is 6 points up on this Detroit Red Wing team. But Detroit does have a game in hand. Win it, and they are 4 points back. Win tonight, and they are 2 points back. Detroit is not quite out of it yet. And it feels like Montreal is about to hit the skids. They did win their last game against Nashville, but they were outshot 37-17. And that's usually a telling sign for me when a team is on a win streak. I bet large on the Winnipeg Jets yesterday, and one of the takeaways for me was that St. Louis, in the middle of a 12-game winning streak, their last 2 games, their analytics were off. They did not dominate Colorado at all. Colorado dominated them from start to finish, but did lose the game. Montreal is in the exact same scenario here. They dominated most of the teams they played in their 5-game win streak, except Nashville had their number. but couldn't get it done. I think Detroit might be live here tonight. Where are you going in this game, Matthew?
Well, I'm with you on this one. I think Detroit finds a way. I think the playoffs are set. I think Montreal's fine. I think they find their way in, being 6 points up. Obviously, this is a huge game for both teams, but I'm with you. I like Detroit and the value here in this game. I think they've played better as of late. I think Patrick Kane will have a monster game for them. So for that, I'm leaning Detroit.
And it's Detroit plus 105, everybody. You know, Ottawa is playing Columbus, and this is a back-to-back scenario with these two teams. They just played each other. Ottawa won this game 4-0. Even shots, 29-29. It went under the total of 6, and not a lot of Columbus games do go under. 43-31 to the over this year. Ottawa is minus 125 here, and they've won 3 straight. I'll tell you right now, Matthew, this Ottawa team is absolutely rolling. I think this might be a bad spot for them. I think at some point these teams have to breathe and find sort of not be able to keep that huge intensity up. Columbus, although basically out of it, are playing for their lives. The problem here is Columbus hasn't scored a goal in 2 straight games. I lean on Columbus, but I prefer the under in this game. Ottawa, I mean, you keep taking unders in Ottawa, you're good to go. 4-0, 3-0, 2-1. They've gone under the total 5 of their last 6. So I like the under better than I like Columbus, but that's where I'm going. What about you?
I'm leaning Columbus. I'm not touching it. It's like you're reading my notes and we don't talk about it before. Full disclosure, we don't say one word about our picks, any of our analysis. Ottawa, like you said, under 5 of the last 6 games. They play to the under. They're a much better defensive team this year under Travis Green than they were under DJ Smith at any point. Ottawa's a fun team to watch. Everyone thinks, oh my God, they're young and they're dynamic. Yeah, they're fun to watch. They're a quick team. They got some scoring on the back end. Jake Sanderson's taken a step forward. The difference with this team and teams in the past, Linus Ullmark, when he's been in net, has given them a chance to win every single game. I'm on the under with you. I would lean Columbus for anyone out there. I think they do win. I think it's a bad spot for Ottawa. Ottawa, the better team, but I'm on the under.
Matthew, when you played in the NHL, and I know I think you missed the Richter Van Beesbrook was era in the Rangers, but when you trade or give away the wrong goaltender, how does that affect the dressing room? Do you guys talk about it?
In which way? I played with Ricky just for like a few months when I got traded there my first year in New York, and then he retired.
Boston Bruins. They parted ways with Linus and kept Swayman. Doesn't look like the wisest decision.
I didn't think Swayman had enough of a pedigree to be in that conversation. Now, listen, that's who they went with. That's who they decided. And it's still very early in this 8-year deal that they signed both of these guys to. I think Linus Ullmark's the better goaltender between the two. I think he has a better pedigree, even though he's jumped around a little bit. But it's, I think when you look at Boston, it's too early to tell from a team's perspective. The guys aren't saying, oh my God, we traded Ullmark. That's their team. I think you have to look at Boston as a whole. This is a totally different team than we've seen in the past with the Zdeno Charas, with Marchand now being gone, with Patrice Bergeron retiring. So I think it's too early to judge, but I think Linus Ullmark is the better goaltender out of the two.
Yeah, and Boston is playing tonight. They're playing New Jersey. I bet big on Boston and Buffalo over the total. It ended up being 6-3. And you look at this Boston team, and they've allowed 15 goals in their last 4 games. And if you go back further than that, I mean, this Boston team in their last 8 games has allowed 4, 6, 6, and 7. Now they're playing New Jersey, who, granted, have really shown themselves to be a good defensive hockey team. and a team that is not a scoring juggernaut. But I don't want to overthink this, Matt. I want to play Boston over till the end of the season. That's where I'm going here. You can find 5.5s out there. I don't want to overthink this bet. It's the Bruins over every night.
Yeah, they're not good defensively. They're just not a deep team. New Jersey can score. Listen, even without a Jack Hughes in the lineup, this team can score. They play a high-paced game. Opposite when I played the New Jersey Devils, where it was clogged down the middle and played to a 2-1 game. I don't have anything in this except for a parlay with New Jersey and Dallas. Those are two teams I think win tonight, only because I think Boston is bad, Vancouver not playing great, and they've desperately fallen out of that playoff race. So I have New Jersey in a parlay with the Dallas Stars later on.
Nice. I love your parlays. They've been doing really, really well. I hope you guys are betting the plays that we're giving out. Let us know what you're doing with the information. Please comment. And if you guys are listening to this show on any of the podcast providers, if you don't mind giving us a thumbs up and writing us a review, it would be greatly appreciated. Really, it would mean the world to us. Also, there's a lot of content on the WagerTalk TV channel over at YouTube. We have another hockey show called Puck Time. We have an all sports daily betting show, which I host, called WagerTalk Today. Both of those shows are live, so we have a very active chat room. Puck Time's at 11 a.m. Eastern. WagerTalk Today is at noon. We also have First Pitch, our baseball show. We have an NBA show. We have a golf show. We got the Masters coming. So please check. Yeah. You're betting on the Masters, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to do some research today. That's kind of my day. It's overcast here, sitting inside, and going to look at some WagerTalk and listen to the boys there and come up with some bets. Listen, I love golf. It's my favorite thing to do. And you give me NFL football, or you give me the Masters, the U.S. Open, any of the majors. I'm locked and loaded for 5 days, not 4, 5 days. I'm going to watch that par 3 and bet it up and hope for the best.
Well, tomorrow we'll have Andy Lang back with us to do prop bets, and I'm going to ask him for a couple of master prop bets for the show as well. Matt, Carolina is playing Buffalo. I don't want to overthink this either. I'm looking to play Buffalo over as well every game they play. They've gone over 5 of their last 6. The only game they went under was Tampa Bay. It was 3-2. Here we have a 6 on tap. And again, we've got a team that's struggling to keep the puck out of the net and a team that can score in the Buffalo Sabres. Carolina looks like they've taken their foot off the gas. They've lost their last 2 games, but more importantly, they allowed 5 goals in each. I know that Brind'Amour likely wants this team to buckle down and come into the playoffs playing better defense, but I don't know if they're quite there yet. I think this might be another one of those games that lacks intensity. I like over the total. Where are you going?
I'm on the over with you. Buffalo can score goals. They take chances. Reimer's actually been really good for this team.
Yeah.
That's why they have played so well in the last 10 games. He's been the difference. I've seen all this different Darlene being in the lineup and this and that. Listen, this is James Reimer who's made the difference in this team. But Buffalo can score. You know, Alex Tuck and Quinn has been on a bit of a streak the last 6-7 games. Tage Thompson has 43 goals. So they can score goals. I think Carolina finds a way. I have Carolina in another parlay with Dallas as well, but not laying the 190. But I think Carolina finds a way to win this game. That's why I like them in a parlay with Dallas, but I also like the over with you.
You're watching The Blue Line, everyone. Matthew Barnaby and myself. It's up live at WagerTalk TV around 11 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, Matt, this is a big game. Toronto playing Florida, and it's a big game for me because I wear the Toronto Maple Leafs on my sleeve. They are my team. And here's a situation that's actually fascinating, and I want to go into the dressing room here, Matthew, with this Florida Panthers team. If Florida, I think, is only 2 points up on Ottawa, and all of a sudden the Leafs could win the division and end up playing Florida in the first round. I don't think the Leafs want that. I don't actually think Florida wants that. There are people saying, hey, Florida's tanking. They want the Leafs in the first round. Talk to me about that, Matt. I don't buy it for 1 second. I think Paul Maurice and the Stanley Cup champs don't care who they play in the first round. I think they want to come in feeling better about themselves, and I think they want to win hockey games. Let's start there. Is this team tanking?
No team goes in trying to lose. We got to take that out of people's minds. Players step onto the ice trying to win every single game. Now, are there organizations that set you up for failure at times? We can go back to 84 with Mario Lemieux. Of course it happens. We can go to Buffalo when they were trying to tank for Connor McDavid, ended up getting Jack Eichel. We've seen how that works out. Florida is not tanking to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto is a very good team. They are leading the division. Having said that, Toronto doesn't want to play Florida in the first round. They would much rather play Ottawa. Even though it's the Battle of Ontario, it's a better matchup for them. Who wants to play the defending Stanley Cup champions when you're going to get an Ekblad back in the lineup, a Matthew Tkachuk back in the lineup, and a healthy and rested Florida Panthers in line? Oh, yeah, let's just wait. Who did they trade for the deadline? Right? Seth Jones, another great right-handed shot, big defenseman that can log 20-plus minutes going in. So, no, Toronto doesn't want to play Florida. Florida isn't tanking to play Toronto. It's just where they are. They have some injuries. Barkov, Kachuk, we know this. Not playing their best hockey. They're going to play as hard as they can tonight. Having said that, I'm all over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm all over the under. Toronto's played the under in their last 4. I'm on the under, but I love the Toronto Maple Leafs in this position.
Well, me and you are going to disagree on the side on this game, but we agree on the total. I, too, like the under, and I think the under is the best bet in this game, but I do not like Toronto in this spot, Matthew. I think ultimately Toronto is sitting around saying, hey, man, we don't want to play Florida, and although they're not going to walk into this game saying let's lose it, it's got to be unconscious, Matt. It's got to subconscious. It's got to have an effect on this Toronto team. And plus, Toronto has won 4 straight games. They've got Tampa Bay up next, which is a much bigger and more important game than this Florida game. I hate the spot for the Leafs. I think we're going to see a 2-1, 3-1 game, and I think Florida wins. So we are both on the under. I like Florida. You like the Toronto Maple Leafs. When Carmine comes on, maybe we'll ask him to break that tie. Matthew, next game up, Vancouver against Dallas. I think let's go into the dressing room again. What's going on in Vancouver, brother? Is this team, have they shut it down for the season?
Again, we'll use the word shut down differently. The players are going to try. Now, you look at your star players, Elias Pettersson. He's been much talked about with his feud with JT Miller. Now, them falling out of the playoffs, and he's a big reason to blame. Vancouver's trying hard. They make a lot of mistakes. Goaltending's been up. Goaltending's been down. But this team's out of it. They're playing a much, much better, one of the powerhouses in the NHL in Dallas. Don't overthink this. Look at the over. Vancouver, 8 of 9 over on the road in their last 9. Dallas wins. I told you I got them in a couple parlays with New Jersey, with Carolina, but I like the over in this game as well.
There we go. I got nothing on this game, Matthew. I got to be honest here. It's too many points for Dallas, and I just don't know where Vancouver is mentally. This one's a pass for me. As far as the New York Islanders and Nashville go, man, I got to look to take the under across the board in any Nashville game they play. This team, 29-48 to the under on the year. And the New York Islanders are playing well defensively. Held Washington to 1, Minnesota to 1. Last 3 games have gone under the total. It's 5.5. Well, this is one of those. Let's not overthink it. I mean, Nashville, they've scored 1 goal 4 of their last 5 games. 1 goal. And none of those games meant anything either. So why buck the trend? I'm going with under the total here.
No, I'd rather watch reruns of 1999 Law and Order SVU with Stabler and Benson than watch this game. I will bet this game. I'm with you. The under, Islanders playing well defensively. I could give a crap who wins this game. Nashville is putrid offensively. Take the under. Don't watch the game. Just like the stock market, just in a few days or tomorrow morning when you're looking at your number, just click on it and accept the win.
Speaking of the stock market, nice start to the day.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God for that. Fingers crossed, everyone. That remains. Utah playing Seattle right now tonight. And look, Seattle won 3 in a row. And Utah, this team had a rough go about 3 weeks ago. Take that out, and this would have been a team vying for the playoffs. They are 1 win off of each other, and Utah is minus 220. That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Seattle wins this game, but at plus 185, the money, the value to me is on Seattle. Where are you going?
The value is definitely on Seattle, but it's a pass for me. I can't bring myself to bet it either which way. I don't want to watch the game. I don't care what happens in the game. That's a pass for me.
We got Vegas playing Colorado, and these two teams are set. I mean, technically, Colorado can jump Dallas, and the Kings can jump the Knights, but very unlikely. These two teams are basically set in place. So let's go into the dressing room here, Matt. Let's talk about both these teams from a emotional perspective, as there's going to be betting opportunities with on or against them moving forward. What is happening inside of the dressing room in both Vegas and Colorado, and how do we use that to bet this game?
Well, I think you can look at both of them. Colorado, 4 of their last 6 games have went on the under. Vegas, last 5 on the under. That tells me you have 2 good offensive teams but are getting ready for the playoffs. They're buckling down defensively. They find ways to win. They usually win 3-1, 4-1. They can explode offensively, but they're buckling down for the playoffs. This is going to be 2 great teams, 2 favorites going into the Stanley Cup playoffs as we get through these next 4 or 5 games throughout the league. But 2 very, very good teams. This is going to be a tight game. Listen, I like the under in this game, even though there's going to be lots of shots, but I think these teams do a very good job of keeping shots to the outside, not giving second chances, and you don't see sustained attacks from either of these teams because both play very hard defensively.
I like Colorado here, Matthew, minus 135. And what I like is that Colorado is coming off of a loss where they dominated the game. They outshot St. Louis 39-21. It feels like their trajectory is on the up. They've got a Vegas team that has won 2 road games in a row. That feels like, from a rhythm perspective, they're due for a loss. I am going to take Colorado in the spot at minus 135. That's it for every single game on the board. Carmine Bianco joining us. And Carm, before we get into your prop bets, Matthew likes the Leafs tonight, and I like the Panthers. Can you break that tie?
I don't want to break that tie. If you subscribe to the theory that Florida Panthers are trying to set themselves up for a first round meeting with the Leafs.
Nobody does. Nobody does here.
I know nobody does there, but they haven't looked good on the road, but sometimes getting back home, getting healthy. I think Florida's the type of team we saw it 2 years ago when they got into that 8th spot, knocked off the Bruins. We saw it last year when they went on to win the Cup. They can win games on the road. I don't think it really matters to them whether they have to start, whether they're a wild card team and Toronto has home ice, or whether they're the 3rd seed in the division and they have to play Tampa Bay. I don't think it bothers them. Maybe Florida from years past, but this team the last couple of seasons have proven they can win on the road. Maybe they send a message to the Leafs tonight. So I get where you're coming from as far as that goes. Seeing Toronto favored in Florida, you don't see that very often. I'm a I think the Panthers. I'm not going to say they tank it, Prez, because I don't think you can possibly tank a game. I just think that I think the Leafs go in there and win tonight.
Wow, there we go.
There we go.
I'm the only Leaf fan, and I think Florida wins. So, Matthew, really quick, before we get into Carm's props, you played on a million hockey teams. Are you a fan? If you were going into the Hall of Fame, which jersey would you wear?
Oh, the team that I'm most disgusted by right now, the Buffalo Sabres. I played 7.5 years there with the organization since I was 18 years old. They gave me a chance. I love the fans there. Had our very good runs there. So definitely the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously wearing Pittsburgh Penguins today, which I love that organization. But Buffalo, as much as they disgust me right now in 14 years with no playoffs, it's been a tough run. So turn it around, boys. Listen, I read a thing yesterday on Twitter. Last time they made the playoffs, Ovechkin was like 542 goals behind Wayne Gretzky. Something to that effect. Something that's not verbatim, but something very close.
Yeah.
So turn it around.
There you go. Carmine, what are your prop bets for tonight's card?
One of them's in that aforementioned game between Florida and Toronto. I'm going to take it's a little juicy at 145, and I think it's going to go a little bit higher. But Sam Reinhart over 2.5 shots on goal. He's gone over the total in 8 straight home games. He had a big March as far as if you were betting him on the shot props, going 10-3 in March. 1-2 thus far in April, but the one game where he went over the total was against Toronto, and 2-1 versus Toronto with his shot props this season. So I'll take him at home. If Florida shows any life, Reinhart will be a big part of it tonight. And then in Pittsburgh, in the second of a back-to-back between Pittsburgh and Chicago, I'm going to take Brian Rust over 2.5 shots, minus 130. 5 straight overs for him. He had 5 in the first half of this back-to-back with Chicago. 8-2 his last 10 as far as shot props go, and 3-0 thus far in April. So I'm going to ride the Brian Rust train at home to go over the shot props. And you look at Pittsburgh's last couple of games, Ottawa and San Jose at home, I think 35 and 36 shots on goal. So the Pens are entertaining their fans, not so much on the road.
There we go. Carmine Bianco, everyone. You can find him every single day on Puck Time. That show is live, 11 a.m. Eastern. Carm, before I let you go, you're coming on WagerTalk today. You're giving a pick out on the Paris Saint-Germain game. Give it out here. I want give our Blue Line listeners a soccer winner.
Geez, I have my notes. I just don't have them. I just don't have them with me. I'm a big PSG fan because I just like that what this team has done since they got rid of let's call it their stars, Lionel Messi, who obviously left, Kylian Mbappe. They play Aston Villa, who are probably the surprise of the tournament thus far, making it to the quarterfinals. PSG's at home. They're going to want to get a result before they head to England for leg 2 next week. And Dembele is scoring goals. I would take Dembele to score a goal and PSG to win.
There we go. Carmine Bianco. We got Champions League quarterfinals this week. Matthew, what are your prop bets for tonight?
Well, I dominated the board yesterday with the wins and the games and the unders, but I went 0 for 2 on my props. I feel much more confident that one of mine is with Carmine's over 2.5 shots. I love that he's backing me for Sam Reinhart. Listen, I think those are, I think that if there's no such thing as a lock, we know that, but for the amount of power plays that they generate, and we know he's in the slot, either tipping him or shooting him, he's as good as it gets right now. Matthew Nyes, over 1.5 shots, minus 120. He's went over that total 5 of the last 6 games was 6, 1, 4, 3, and too, playing very good hockey.
There we go. That's the prop bet segment. My best bet for this show is the over in the New Jersey Devils Boston Bruins game. It's 5.5. I think we get to 7 goals. Over in the Boston, New Jersey game is my best bet. What's yours, Matt?
Best bet is under Ottawa, Columbus.
There we go. That's the show, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Make sure to comment. Make sure to leave a review for us. Greatly appreciated. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure to not bet above your means, and let's all win together.